feel alive. I'm just trying to make you feel something.
Yo, what is up? It's good to be back. This is not the first podcast that I've recorded since I've been back, but I think this will be the first one that I put out. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for popping in. However, I wouldn't suggest starting here. I would probably go back to episode 1 or 2. I think those are two good entry points to, kind of like what we do over here. This is a little bit different than the content that you see with me and Varnell or some of the, in studio creative stuff. I mean, there's going to be some crossover in this episode, but the reason why it took me so long to start putting these out is just because everything's been so heavy. I went to Asia in September, and I got back right around election time, a week before my birthday. Also, the date of my father's birthday. And I kind of just wanted to spend a lot of time by myself. I wasn't really putting out much content during that time. And even for my actual birthday, I didn't really do anything spectacular. I went to Disneyland, just kind of had a chill birthday. I was feeling really, just like the rest of the world. I think a lot of people in the world felt it. But I was just feeling extra internalized, even more than normal, even for myself. So it took me a while to kind of figure out, what I want to talk about and things like that. And I have recorded quite a bit of my thoughts because this is therapeutic. But some things I haven't wanted to put out yet. At some point, we'll see. We'll see how those things surface. But today, I had a lot of thoughts, positive thoughts. Been really, really happy with a lot of the music that I've been making, and just overall how everything is going. It's been going really cool. I had a really good time starting to DJ again. Did a couple mashups. Saw a couple of the clips of the mashups went viral, which is pretty dope. And the cool thing is, when I do the mashups, I put them out on Patreon, and then I let the Patronis cut clips of the mashups and put them out on their social media because I want you guys to go get the views and the likes and stuff like that for putting them out. That's not what's important to me. It's just important to me is just, having fun with the music. Keeps my brain sharp when I hear how other songs are connected. Listening to just, blending like two different worlds together. It's always been fun to me to do that. I think part of how I got discovered was actually through a remix contest when I was, back in 2005, 2006 when I first started. So for me, it's always been easy for me to hear how kind of two songs or two different sets of frequencies kind of can go together. And so Friday before I started the set that I had, it was the anniversary of Map of the Soul 7, the 5-year anniversary, which was exciting. And I had planned to do like this epic, 2-hour mix of mashing up, a ton of songs from Map of the Soul 7 with, maybe some current instrumentals and doing all these kind of blends. And I didn't really get to execute it to like my liking of what I envisioned because I actually had a terrible week leading up to that point. And I couldn't really do it. Like I said, I couldn't do it the way that I actually envisioned it, but it still came out amazing. Everybody had such a good time. I was happy with it. My boy Varnell popped up on me. Shouts out to him. My boy Ricky popped up on me. Shouts out to him. We had a good time over here kicking it and just, going through music. And it just really got me thinking, like, after that night, I've had, this is Monday, I just did that on Friday, and I've had 3 consecutive days, and my entire, mood has shifted, and obviously, the fans and Army and, my friends played a big part in that. But, overall, it's, it's the music, and it's always the music. It's always the music every single time. I could be, it's weird. I guess what I'm trying to say is, have you ever felt like you were kind of in a bit of a slump and you know exactly what you need to do to get out of that slump? Or maybe you're feeling a little depressed and you know exactly what you need to do. Maybe You're like, okay, if I go exercise, I know it's going to help me get out of this slump. But for whatever reason, you're so deep in it that you can't even go exercise, even though you know that's going to give you what you need. Music has been like that for me forever, like even before I started creating it, it's always been like that. I've always found a lot of solace in the songs, getting lost in the frequencies. And I could be having a bad day, 2 bad days, 3 bad days, and the answer probably is just like, go listen to some of the music you've made. Like, you have thousands of songs, so much unreleased music, so many ideas I'm working on. And no matter what's happening, it seems like anytime I can just go sit down and play some music, it always alters my mood, and it always helps. And that's what I want to talk about today. And like I said, if this is your first time here, I suggest going back to No More Dream, The Recipe, some of those episodes, because this is about to get extremely nerdy and extremely technical. And if you are not in the mood for that, I also suggest that you maybe just leave now. It's okay. I'm cool with it. But the people who want to talk about this and talk about sound and frequency and how it affects you, welcome, because I think this is going to be a really, really cool episode. All right, so we're going to start with talking about solfeggio frequencies. It's SOLFEGGIO, solfeggio frequencies. And it's basically like the healing power of sound. And so solfeggio frequencies they're specific sound vibrations that people believe that can heal the body. They can calm your mind, they can raise your energy. You can think of them as kind of like musical vitamins, or like sonic vitamins. And each one has like a different effect. Like, one frequency might reduce stress, another one can boost creativity, another one can help with emotional healing, and so forth and so forth. And these frequencies are based on an ancient 6-tone scale, which later was expanded to 9, that was supposedly used in sacred music for centuries, since forever ago. And today people use them in meditation, music therapy, and even modern sound healing. They have tests where they're showing different frequencies can kill cancer cells, heal red blood cells, and so many things like that. That loud motorcycle in the background is definitely not healing. But the way that they work is, if you imagine your body is like a musical instrument, right? If it's out of tune, you feel stressed, you feel sick, you feel emotionally drained. These frequencies are like a tuning fork. I wish I could do a little pop-up on the screen and tell you what that is, but just go Google what a tuning fork is and you'll see. But these frequencies are like a tuning fork that helps bring everything back into balance. Different frequencies are thought to affect different parts of you, right? So some work on your mind, some work on your emotions, and some, on a deeper level, they say that it can even affect your DNA. So the 9 main solfeggio frequencies and the different effects that they have is 174 hertz is a pain reliever. It says that it can reduce stress, physical pain, tension. It's like a sound bath for your nerves. 285, that's the body healer. It speeds up healing in cells, tissues. Some say it can even help the body recover faster from injuries. 396, that's the fear buster. This releases fear, guilt, negative emotions. It's really good for breaking past, any emotional blocks that you might have. 417 hertz, this is called the fresh start. It helps wipe out negative energy and gives you like a mental reset, a mental and emotional reset. 528, this is one that a lot of people might have heard of if you were tracking with me here. If not, 528 is called the love frequency, aka DNA repair. And this is often referred to as the miracle tone, and it's linked to love, peace, and even healing at a cellular level. 639 hertz is considered to be the relationship healer, and this improves communication, understanding, and emotional connection with others. 741 hertz is the detoxifier, which flushes out negativity, toxins, electromagnetic radiation. Like, it's like an energy cleanse. It's a good one because, with EMF, like, we are constantly on these devices. We walk around with smartphones connected to us all day long. So it's a really good one. 852 is the spiritual awakener. Helps you just feel more in tune with yourself, your intuition, just a higher consciousness overall. And 963 hertz, this is the divine connection known as the God frequency. And some people believe it helps unlock deeper consciousness and enlightenment, right? So I've always read about these things, and I hadn't gotten to a point where I would like purposely putting these things into my music like with that intention. But I do listen to like different meditation tapes at times, and you can pick different frequencies. All you have to do is go on YouTube and you can type in any one of the frequencies that I just named, and you can find like meditation music. These things are readily available, and I've used them for years and years and years. And I think either I'm innately tapped in, or because I've been listening for so long, I tend to pick out those some of those notes in my music when I'm creating music. And just out of curiosity, right before I started this episode, I went back to the intro at the beginning, and that's an unfinished song that I was working on, and I just love the way that it felt, especially with what they're saying, I just want to make you feel something in there. And so right before I started, I opened up ProQ, which is Fab Filter. It's a spectral analyzer. It's an EQ that has a spectral analyzer on it. And I just really wanted to just test out where the frequency range is on those high notes on the chorus that we pushed for on there, because it just feels incredible right there, right? And lo and behold, it's right at 960, right near 963 hertz, which is the divine connection known as the God frequency. And like I said, some people believe it helps unlock a deeper consciousness and enlightenment. And it's amazing that is the part of that record, because that's a complete song as far as like the structure of it. But the part that I picked out to be the intro for my podcast is that exact part. And then the only lyrics that we really had up there is just like, I want to make you feel alive. I just want to make you feel something. And the fact that it sits right at the 963 hertz, God frequency, divine connection, it almost gave me goosebumps. When I discovered that right before I started filming this. And so, right before I started recording this podcast, which is what made me want to really talk about this. I had some other notes about things that I might talk about, but I felt like, let's just go down this path and see if this resonates with anybody. So you might ask, like, why does this even matter in music? Well, a lot of modern music is tuned to 440 hertz, and some people believe this tuning is like a less natural tuning to the human body in general. And there's a lot of people who, are kind of tapped in on some of this stuff. I've seen Janae Aiko talk about it in some of her interviews. And I know she has like sound bowls that she puts out for sound bass and, some other artists. But, there's a lot of theories about shifting a song to 432 hertz or 528 hertz that can make it feel warmer or deeper or just more emotionally resonant. And if you've ever heard a song that gave you chills or made you cry or felt like it healed something inside of you, chances are it was hitting one of these resonant frequencies, even if it wasn't intentional. And some artists, producers, myself included, naturally create music that aligns with healing vibrations without even realizing it. So just think of it as like, kind of like food for the soul. Like, fast food music is just low vibration, chaotic, overly aggressive sounds. Might give you a quick energy burst, but it kind of leaves you feeling drained after a while. And then a good home-cooked meal, a good nutrient-rich music, is often aligned with healing frequencies that kind of just nourishes your mind, your body, and your emotions in a deeper way. And I really believe that this is why some songs last forever. They just hit something deeper than just your ears. They touch something in your soul. And there's a growing body of research that are making a lot of these suggestions that, I'm talking about here today, about how sound frequencies can just have a super profound effect on your biological system in general. We talked about 528 hertz, which is love frequency, and 432, which is people say should be like the natural tuning of the universe, and it's believed to create, harmony in the body. And there's another research study. My grandma passed away a couple years ago, and she battled with Alzheimer's for a really, really long time. And when I was looking at a lot of the research that they were doing for Alzheimer's, 40 hertz was currently being studied for its effects on neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. And the research showed that exposure to that frequency might help clear the plaque on the brain, which causes Alzheimer's, which is amazing. And I wish I wish I had known these things earlier. I could have made, with my gift of just understanding sound in general, I probably would have made that my life's work, But these findings really align with the idea that sound can influence matter at a microscopic level. Like when you zoom in on a red blood cell, the sound waves at very specific frequencies, like we just talked about, can literally alter their structure, improving like circulation and oxygenation and all that kind of stuff. And then there's also like a concept that's called resonant frequency therapy. That suggests that certain frequencies can, kill cancer cells, cause cancer cells to collapse and self-destruct. It's, obviously combined with other drugs and things like that, but it's really interesting stuff to go check out. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving any kind of medical advice or anything like that. I just think that, if any loved one is dealing with that, I think that looking into sonodynamic therapy, obviously combined with proper treatment, it's worth looking into. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so how many of you know about string theory? Raise your hand. Just playing, I can't see you. But string theory in its like simplest form suggests that the fundamental building blocks of the universe aren't particles, but tiny vibrating strings, basically. And these strings determine the properties of matter based on their vibrational state. So like if everything from like atoms to galaxies and all this stuff is governed by vibration, it makes sense that sound, which is vibration, could have direct and profound effects on matter. You still with me? I hope so. In a way, string theory kind of supports the idea that, to me, that music and sound aren't just artistic expressions, but like fundamental forces that actually like shape reality, which is super cool. And if we take it further than that, different dimensions of reality, which string theory proposes, could be structured by different vibrational frequencies, meaning that our perception of time, space, and even consciousness itself could be tied to frequency. And I do really believe that, because like, have you ever been at like a low point in your life where you might just kind of be vibrating at like a lower state, and you might meet certain people or invite certain people into your life that don't really match you where you're at when you're at a better state in your life? I went through that, when I was younger, and the better off that I am, like the higher frequency that I'm vibrating at, I end up meeting like the most amazing people. And it's interesting. Like, I think that when you are on a certain vibration, it can actually deter like awful people from coming into your life, or awful things coming into your life. And the complete opposite when you're vibrating at a low frequency. So that's why these things are important to just kind of be operating at an optimal level. So if you're interested, I want you to look up something. It's called the Schumann resonance. Schumann, SCHUMANN, I think. And it refers to the Earth's natural electromagnetic frequency, which hovers, I think, at like 7 hertz, 7.83 hertz. And this frequency is significant because it's been found to directly interact with human brainwaves, specifically like your alpha waves, which are associated with relaxation, creativity, deep states of meditation, or, I guess what people often refer to as like being, in the zone, just kind of like feeling at that space. And there's speculation that long-term detachment from natural frequencies because of like artificial EMFs, chaotic noise pollution, like for me living in downtown Los Angeles, can disrupt your biological rhythms, and that leads to stress, disease, and even cognitive dysfunction. A lot of people believe that certain music frequencies can realign us with natural vibration states, and that'll help improve like our health and mental clarity. And when I'm talking about artificial EMFs, once again, we're getting back into the fact that we literally walk around with, AirPods in our ears all day long, or we have smart phones and basically supercomputers in our pockets connected to our body. We're plugging our phone in and putting it under our pillow at night. These things are not good. These things are not good for. So if you just take everything in together that I talked about, just number one, sound is medicine, in my opinion. I don't have I'm not smart enough to completely explain why, but that's just what I feel. I think it's, I had a lot of effects on biology, from red blood cells to neurological function, that they've started to prove. And, I've just kind of felt like that my whole life. Number two, physics of vibration. So at a quantum level, everything is in constant vibration, meaning that sound is literally a fundamental structure of reality. You can't really argue against that. It is what it is. Number three, resonance in consciousness. Human consciousness seems to be tied to frequency, which might explain why music and rhythm have such deep emotional and spiritual significance. Like, you can listen to a song and get goosebumps from that song every single time, or, cry every single time. It's weird. There's a song that my dad loved called Stand By Me. I'm sure plenty of you have heard it. And he used to, kind of sing it and dance to it like in a funny way, like he was singing to me. And I used to always laugh. And it's just like at the weirdest times, that song will come on. And that's a song that's been covered in so many languages. And even just recently, before I came back, it was my dad's birthday. I was flying out the next morning. And I was sitting in a bar in Japan having a meal before I was getting ready to take off to the airport to go home. And I even took a recording of it on my phone because I was sitting there thinking about him on his birthday. And Stand By Me came on, and it was like a Japanese EDM cover of Stand By Me. And I just thought that was just insane. And lastly, number four, or number 3, 4, whatever number I'm on. But the last thing the point I wanted to make from everything that I just talked about is just, planetary and cosmic frequencies. Like the Earth and possibly the universe itself operate fundamentally on vibrations, and it influences everything from brain state to weather patterns, And I just think that because of that, I think that us as music creators, us as music consumers, I think that we need to really, really be, just considerate overall of what we're taking in. I've taken a really different approach. I started this probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, where I really wanted to tinker with my algorithms on the social media apps that I use, different foods, and I really honed in on sound. I got really, really specific about what I wanted to hear and what I didn't want to hear. And I went from someone that was just in touch with every single thing that was going on musically to just being in touch with the things that make me feel a certain way. And I think that it's had a huge, it's made a huge difference on my entire life. I guess so. What I'm suggesting here is that music is it's so much more than an art form. it can be a form of technology that can be used for healing, expanding your mind, maybe even deeper understandings of reality itself, or deeper understandings of you being able to understand yourself. The fact that in ancient cultures that they understood these principles without modern science makes it even more intriguing. It's pretty phenomenal. I would definitely love to hear like your take on some of these things in the comments and things like that. So please feel free to drop those in the comments, and I'll respond to some of you guys. Something that I left out too that I had in my notes here that I wanted to add is that there's a quote from Nikola Tesla that said, I'm just gonna leave that in just so you can just hear how distracting it can be, as I'm talking about sound and frequencies and all the crazy noise pollution that I deal with down here while trying to create. But yeah, there's a quote from Nikola Tesla that says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Sounds to me like he knew something. Before I ever started working with BTS in general, some of the things I would see from fans and things like that would be, a lot of people describe their music as healing, and I don't have complete access to like the tuning data or anything like that, but I do have a spectral analyzer here, and I went through some songs that just grabbed a couple random ones, and I started with Spring Day because for the people who are listening to this that don't know much about BTS, just go look into Spring Day, go look into what the song is about, and go look at how that song resonates with fans. It won't be hard to go figure that out. If I start explaining that here right now, it's going to be too long, but the song just has an emotional, nostalgic pull, and I played it during my set on Friday when I was DJing, and obviously, joking around, handing Varnell some Kleenex, playing around and stuff like that. But he did tell me he really liked that song. He was like, "Oh, what was that?" He asked me what the song was about, and so I kind of gave him like a little bit of a backstory. But I told him that I would give him more once we actually get to BTS's catalog on our show, working title Rabbit Hole, and we'll talk about it some more. All right, and so I pulled that song up with the spectral analyzer, and I did notice that song kind of seems like it's hitting like the 432 tuning. So I thought that was interesting. And a song doesn't have to be entirely tuned to these frequencies, because a lot of, when it comes to creating these meditative kind of sounds that are on these specific frequencies, a lot of times you might start with a sine wave or a specific signal generator, and then you're tuning that to whatever frequency it is you want to hit, and then you just kind of build music around it. So it's not about the song sitting there the entire time. There might be just certain moments that are hitting it, or certain times in the song, like maybe there's some high notes in the chorus that are specifically hitting your frequency, to kind of give you that kind of emotional pull. Another song that I noticed when I was going through with the spectral analyzer was Magic Shop, which in a way is meant to be kind of like a healing song for Army. So I thought that was dope that both of those songs are kind of tuned at 432 hertz. And Epiphany, Jen Solo as well, which is just kind of has a deeply introspective and comforting kind of feel to it. And I thought that was pretty dope. So those are 3 songs that you can go listen to and just see how you feel after you hear them. 528 hertz, which is the love frequency, aka the DNA repair frequency, that I said was known for, positive heart opening effects, and it's used in meditation music and therapeutic soundscapes. And some of BTS's most like uplifting and emotionally like soothing tracks kind of sit around 528 hertz. Now, I don't know if these things are intentional once again. Obviously, like, I know the production staff and team over there and stuff like that, and I do kind of think that there is like I think there's a reason why me and P Dog were able to make such magic with my time with JK and RM. It's like, once again, it's people kind of vibrating on the same level. I've been a fan of P Dog's production. He's been a fan of my production. We worked together and we made some really dope music together, even outside of my time. And so for me to like someone's music, it could be that we're hearing these different frequencies the same, and whether we know we're doing it intentionally or not, we're just playing the things that move us. And so I Love Myself, that's a song that comes to mind. Life Goes On, and The Truth Untold, which kind of carries a deep melancholy kind of yet cathartic feeling to it. But there's certain parts of that song when I'm looking at the spectral analyzer that are hitting 528 hertz, and it could be everything. It can be like some of the sound design choices, like where the warm pads come in, or even like the reverb on the vocals. There's a way to tune your reverb to hit frequencies like that. And even just harmonic structures, I just think that they really align with the emotional effects that 528 hertz is known for. And I'm sure there's a lot more in the catalog. And I think that that's why so many people resonate with what it is that they do, and they have those feelings, a lot of people told me that the very first time listening through Map of the Soul 7, that once my time came on, that they were instantly pulled in, like, because when they heard those sounds at the very beginning, it was just like, what is even happening right now? It was like they felt transformed. And I kid you not, I just went and checked right now. I even took a screenshot on my spectral analyzer because I want you to see this. And that beginning part, when it's first coming in, you first hear like the little high-pitched sound that's hitting at a C, and the frequency of that C is literally, it's like 527.83 hertz, which is 528 hertz, which we just talked about is the love frequency, the DNA repair frequency. And the fact that RM, myself, and JK were inclined to come together to write a song that fits all of what 528 hertz is about. And we found a way to combine, two different languages to create that feeling for JK having, those moments of reflection in his life. And we created the musical soundscape for him to tell that story. It's just really, really, really incredible. I just discovered that right now in real time. So if I sound extremely excited about it, it's just because it's just like that was incredible. Wow. I never knew that. And like I said, I know, I've dealt with sound and frequency for so long. None of it has been intentional, but I make music that I like first and foremost. I make music that the stuff that I'm working on, it has to move me in some way for me to want to call it a complete body of work and send it to somebody. And yeah, wow. Like the fact that my biggest song at this point in my career, on this half of my career specifically, is right at the love frequency, and all the love that's come from making that song is just really, really incredible. So that's pretty much all I have, for this. I just wanted to check that out, and I saw that, using the spectral analyzer, that a lot of BTS songs seem to be all in that same frequency. Some seem like, some of the harmonies and different parts. And I notice it's a lot of parts that, resonate with fans worldwide. And I'm just looking at the frequencies and paying attention to those things. And it's amazing. I think music is a really great tool for healing. It's not something to play around with, So yeah, just be cognizant of like what you're taking in. There was even a time a few years back where I declined. I think it was Tekashi 6ix9ine. There was a track that they wanted me to clear for something, and I just, was never a fan of what he was about. And I'm a through and through, hip hop kid. Grew up in it. I love gangster rap growing up and all these things like that. But you can look at certain artists, and you might consider what they're talking about to be negative, and that's not what I'm getting at here. I just like a complete story. If you're going to glorify, street violence or, the drug dealers or whatever the case may be, I need to have the other song where, the party dies and everybody goes to jail. And, there has to be like dichotomy to the music. Like, I don't want it to be, if you're reporting on what goes on in these environments, I need to also either be asking, you need to be asking for what the solution should be or could be, or bring something to the table other than, glorification, because there's nothing more that I dislike than seeing, especially at this stage in hip hop where a lot of people are kind of living through the internet and they're glorifying these lifestyles that they never ever participated in. And, me being someone at this stage in my life where especially, you work your whole life to stay away from those things, not to go towards them, and to see people get rich in their 30s and, rich in their 20s and then start wanting to be a gang member in their 30s. It's just really ass backwards, and it's just the wrong message. So I'm going to turn up what's been playing in the background of this entire episode, and it is something that I created really quick just to have playing underneath in the background. I wanted to have something that felt meditative, and I wanted to pick a frequency for you to kind of subliminally vibe out to while you are listening to this podcast. And it has been playing underneath, and it is the love frequency, aka the miracle tone 528 hertz, aka DNA repair, which is linked to love, peace, and even healing at a cellular level. So this has been playing. I'm going to turn it up for you so you can hear it. Then I'll have a couple more things to say, and then I'll see you next time. I just think that music isn't something to play with. I think that, it can make you laugh, it can make you cry, it can make you dance, it could do so many positive things, but it can also create scenarios that we don't want and we don't need. And I think that more people should understand the power of the gift that you might have been given and figure out ways to use it in a way that helps the world and spreads love.
Sunny, Lord, everything you need, come and see a real one. Time for you to feel alive. I'm just trying to make you feel something.